Colin Russo, ESPN West Palm tonight from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. We got two special guests today. They're Olympians and silver medalists at that from the 2024 Paris Olympics. I'd like to welcome Brandie Wilkerson and Melissa Humana-Paredes joining us because they got the AVP Week 1. Week 1, which is going to be this weekend. Friday and Saturday down in Delray. So make sure to go check that out because you're going to have tournament stuff all throughout the weekend and you get the regular season actually underway. Your side and the two men for the Palm Beach Passion. Welcome into the program. Welcome into ESPN West Palm. How are we doing today? Everybody good?
Amazing. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. And congratulations on Paris and what a run you guys had there. And I know this is... A lot of this seems like momentum, and like you get Paris, that happens, you kind of get your medal, and then you enter into the season. Give me a feel to start. Coming in, does it feel sort of like tournament play? I mean, now you're going to have to differentiate because it's a regular season, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be, this is wins and losses week by week. This is not necessarily like we got a week and a half to go win a medal here, and we got to build on some momentum quick. This is going to be a season-long process. Has that been an adjustment for you two and how you guys handle this?
Yeah, it's been a great adjustment. I mean, we know what dates we're going to be playing. We know,
who
which
you're going to be
locations, who we're going to be playing. That's something that's a little bit different than when you would play on a different tour or how traditionally it's played on the World Tour going into the Olympics. So this has been exciting. And then to know we have 4 weekends to really prove ourselves. The format is much faster. Typically, we play games to 21 points, best of 3. Now we're playing best of 3 to 15 points.
Yeah.
So everything is just really command performance, get ready to execute, and represent your city.
And the AVP League opens at Delray Beach over at the Tennis Center. That is going to be this weekend, Friday and Saturday, May 23rd and May 24th, 201 West Atlantic Avenue down in Delray Beach. Tickets start at just $23. Go check them out, avp.com/tickets. Let's start with Paris before we get into the season. Coming in, the one thing I'm fascinated in when I'm really getting into the depths of beach volleyball is the idea of finding a partner and the idea of changing partners. It's almost, it's like, yes, this is a teammate, but it's a partnership. That's really what it is.
Oh, you nailed it.
It's you're trying to become one, but also like this is a coexisting that you guys have to find. You guys have had multiple partners in your professional careers. You played together in college. What was going into, all right, we need to find a new partner. All of a sudden, do you just call like, hey, do we want to do this? Or is this like an interview process? Yeah. How do we do this? Melissa, I want to get your thoughts there.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. It's basically a marriage. Like the whole process of finding a partnership, finding a beach partner, which is basically your life partner, especially in Canada where we're from, is you kind of know who's available. You're kind of like, you have your sense of who you want to play with, who you've got your eye on, and it's just a matter of when they're single, like when they're available. And
it's fascinating. Yeah, I heard these two might break up. So
no, you hear some things through the grapevine. You're like, oh, maybe they're not doing so hot right now. But I mean, I've known Brandie basically my entire career. We went to college way back when, and the pool of people that you get to pick from is pretty small. So you just know who's available, who's not available, who you think you jive with. So when it came to, I went on the market shortly before the Paris Olympics, and Brandie was not single at the time. So I was just patiently waiting for the moment.
Did you have your eye on Brandie?
I had my eye on Brandie from the get-go. From the get-go.
Now, Brandie, do you know that? So you don't have to play. Hold on. I don't want to put you on a spot here. I understand. I don't want to put you in a spot. But I'm curious, like, once you exit out of the previous arrangement of this is so, we're talking like it's marriage.
It is.
It's so fascinating. And you sort of exit out of that, your previous partner, and then all of a sudden you call Melissa, and you're thinking when you're coming out, all right, I think Melissa's going to be the next one here?
Definitely. I think Melissa's always been, in the back of my mind. I enjoyed getting to know her and us playing indoor together, and then we competed against each other multiple times in beach, and sometimes you're just like, man, she's doing so great. It'd be so great if we were just on the same side of the court this time, And so when the opportunity came that I became single and she was single, and it was like, this feels like it was 10 years in the making. Like, finally, our time has come. We didn't force anything. We just met each other when we were both available.
Was it tricky in terms of the timing? You had the Olympics coming up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, we got to figure out chemistry like tomorrow. Definitely. Because we got to make sure we're on the team and we qualify and everything's good there. Was that an expedited process for you two because you found your partnership and then all of a sudden the Olympics are around the corner?
Definitely. I mean, both of us breaking up with our previous partners so close to the Olympics, one, was a risk to take. And then two, being like, okay, but are we actually going to play together? Because had no guarantees of that. And then when we did decide that, we're like, okay, we have 2 seasons. What did we play? 18 tournaments before we made it to the finals?
We got together 1 month before the Olympic qualification started. Wow. So we had to get together and also not only perform and get Olympic points to just make it to Paris, but we had to figure ourselves out. We had to figure out how we operate, our best forms of communication, how to get our systems in place. We had to do that.
Where we're going to train.
Totally. We had to figure all that out while trying to prepare for the Olympics and meet standard for the Olympics. So it was a huge learning curve. We had to do it quick, and we did. I think we rose to the occasion.
That was the goal in mind, though, right? Once you guys got together, we're qualifying for Paris. We got to make sure that's the end goal. Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum, and then we got to come in and we got to shock the world.
That's
a bit.
right. Yeah.
Another thing I want to segue to is Canada. You guys have the first silver medal Olympians. Wow. For beach volleyball for Canada, which is a huge accomplishment for you guys because I'm thinking about it. You think beach volleyball, you think Brazil, you think the United States.
Totally.
And then you guys coming in and not only qualifying and getting there, but also placing and getting an Olympic medal out of it and beating a Cloth and Nuss. And then that was, what was that, the round of 16, I believe?
Yes.
And then you had that great comeback against Switzerland with Huberly and Brunner.
That's right.
So an awesome run. Yeah. Was there a sense of we're finding a little bit of magic and mojo? Is there anything to that everything's sort of clicking at the right time?
Maybe, but I think we prepared for that magic. I think we did everything we possibly could for that little piece to come together. You have to build the environment. You have to make an opportunity happen. And also the team that we had, the environment that we had, the prep that we did years leading up to those moments, and our individual work, I think helped us really rise to the occasion. And definitely the deep work we do between Melissa and I to be so supportive of each other and genuinely have never lost sight of us being at that finals at the Olympic Games. That's the reason why we decided to play together. So we knew no matter what, this is where we're going to be, and we were going to see it through no matter how the external circumstances might have looked.
One thing I got to add on too, because that's one of the coolest locations I think they've ever done for an event in an Olympic style for the beach volleyball I think I've ever seen.
Period.
That was a jaw-dropping moment. That's got to be the most surreal feeling in the entire world when you're not only competing in the Olympics, but you look up.
No, I never got used to it.
Never got used to it?
No, it was incredible from the first day to the last day of the Olympics to drive up to our venue knowing that it was in front of the Eiffel Tower. That put beach volleyball where it should be, honestly, because it's one of the most popular sports at the Olympics. So, of course, it deserves an iconic venue. But I think that really, when we knew that we were going to be playing in front of the Eiffel Tower as a beach volleyball community as a whole, we knew we had to put on a show, that we were going to rise to the occasion and make sure that people who were coming to watch, whether it was the first time or the 100th time you're watching beach volleyball, that you knew that it was going to be a special place to be. Because in front of the Eiffel Tower at night, sometimes you're playing and the lights are twinkling and the whole crowd just oohs and ahs. It's something that you'll never be able to replicate. It was probably the most historic venue at the Olympic Games ever, and probably will be in future years to come. It'll be hard to top that. It will
be hard to top that, indeed. Now, another thing I want to talk about, actually, with beach volleyball, I think volleyball is a fascinating sport. Beach and just general volleyball, it's a game of runs. It's a game of, you got to make sure, all right, there's a 7-8 point period where all of a sudden the tide in the entire match can flip.
Totally.
And I think that harnessing that and understanding that is a big kind of adjustment because you might, have a series of 6 points where, all right, this did not go well. And then you sort of realize that, all right, all you got to do is sort of forget about it and flip it. Because there's, the score, but then the set resets, and then you could have a chance to force the tie break. Was there a mental toughness that I think is underrated in beach volleyball that I guess should be at the forefront of what you two would prepare for, Brandie? I'm curious on your thoughts there.
I absolutely think so. I personally believe beach volleyball is one of the greatest sports for that. It really pins people to... the objective of the game is to highlight all of the weaknesses you have in your technique, in your skills, in your mental ability, whatever. That's what the opposite team is trying to do. They're trying to expose you, and you have to deal with that. So you need to be aware of what you can and can't do, what you're working on, what your options are, your support system, on and off the sand. And then, day to day, the mental toughness, the ability to just let go of that point and move on to the next play in a matter of seconds is something you have to practice long before the game happens. And we work with mental performance coaches. We work with our coaches like on the sand to talk about those things, and definitely with each other. You have to just be radically honest about those and hopefully use those skills in your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it carries over. Melissa, the one thing about that too is I think you guys have been professionals for a number of years. At the beginning of this, when you realize that you've been playing since a young age, even when you're playing collegiately, whether you're representing as a child, that's one thing that I think might come last. Am I wrong on that? That mental fortitude that comes with being not only a professional athlete, but a professional beach volleyball player?
100%. I think about early days in my career, it wasn't really talked about that much. And I think across the board in sports, like it's definitely becoming more of a conversation now. And I hope that we're instilling it into younger generations because it's so important in not just our sport, but every sport, mental performance, like sports, it's really a huge mental toll in building confidence and building consistency, in building mental resilience and overcoming pressures and obstacles. Like all that stuff needs to be taught at a young age. And I think it's very much embedded now. I think these conversations of mental health and mental performance are top of mind. Just as much as technique and fitness and endurance is. So, right. But I don't think it's always been like that. So I appreciate it now because like Brandie was saying, I feel like it's like 80% mental at this point. At this level, the highest level of our game, everyone is fit. We can all pass, bump, and set. But it's who's going to be able to last the game mentally the longest? Who's going to be able to like cater to their partner and communicate with their partner the best and have those difficult conversations? That's who's going to win.
See, this is fascinating because that is only like Olympic level athletes that can say that. So I credit to you guys. This is no doubt. But I get out there on the sand. This is not going to be a mental game. This is going to be a physical game. All right. This is going to be a physical upward battle. Of course, Brandie Wilkerson and Melissa Humana-Paredes joining us from the Palm Beach Passion and the AVP League. All right. So the AVP League starts last year. Yeah. And when this comes about, you guys have played professionally in a variety of different tournaments all over the world. When this sort of was pitched, hey, we're thinking about this. This is an idea. What do you guys think? It's right after the Olympics. Was this something that sparked, why didn't we think of this sooner? Walk me through sort of how this came about onto your doorsteps, that this was going to be a next step in your career.
Yeah, firstly, we were just excited to collaborate with everyone that's working to pitch the idea and make AVP what it is now. I think at first, a lot of people had to wrap their head around what the concept was.
How we're going to do it.
How does this work? We have never seen anything like this before. But we're excited. We want to see this sport grow. And if this is the avenue that we take, then it's admirable to even try. And so we're going to support it wholeheartedly. And we've been lucky to be Palm Beach for 2 years now. And I can already feel our sense of like just wanting to be Palm Beach. We want people from here to support us. We want people to back up their city, even if they don't know us personally, and then hopefully get to know us through our game and just interacting, because we're definitely here to be here for the people here. Yeah.
Right. And locationally, South Florida. Yeah. I mean, you're kind of in the gold mine of, playing on the beach 12 months a year. So I think it actually works because it's surrounded in the lifestyle. And I think that goes into something when you're representing an area. And whether you're playing, whether it's in Delray, you're playing in all across the country, there's a sense of representation, but there's also a sense of you kind of start to become a little bit of the community that you play for. And it's not like you have to live here and breathe here and grow up here, but you start to get a feel. Like over the past 2 years, you guys have started to get a little Palm Beach coded. Or am I right on that, or am I wrong on that?
We're hometown heroes. We just
hometown heroes. The statue is down to the right. I'll sculpt it myself. Yeah.
Our second season, we're locals. We have our favorite coffee shop.
Everybody here is not a local, so you're not alone. No. Everybody, this is a transplant.
We're just as local as everyone else. Okay.
Everybody here did not grow up here, so you're not alone in that regard. I did not grow up here, so I moved here last year. I'm kind of like you guys. So same deal.
It's been lovely, honestly, walking around the streets, going to the beach. We had a little practice there yesterday, and there were tons of people just playing around recreationally, messing around with the ball, and coming up to us asking for pictures and saying that they're going to come watch us this weekend. So it does really feel like, we've made a name for beach volleyball here. AVP is like really transplanted here in Palm Beach, and we're excited to represent.
And 8 teams in the league, and it's Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
It did this constant movement of, all right, we got this week, we got to go there next week, got to go there next week. that structure's got to be really fun. But there's also, is there a sense of rivalry that has started to be formulating a little bit? I don't want you guys to speak anything into existence, but I know there is something. Rivalry is a very interesting thing. It happens, of course, in your senses when you're playing at tournaments and stuff like that. You only see them when you see them, similar to like tennis. But when you're playing in a league, we see these teams and players a lot.
Yeah. Quite
a bit. But rivalry is good for sport. Rivalry is good for fans. Rivalry is good for TV. You almost have to play into that, right? To becoming into a league like the AVP league, Melissa, have you started to, did they ask you to bring out a little fire to add to the entertainment aspect? Or do we have to get angry at opposing teams? Do we have to get angry at opposing players?
It's funny that you're asking us that. I think we have some really healthy rivalries.
That's
for
all
sure.
it needs. That's what sports is about.
I think we're one of the funnest teams to watch because we like to have a lot of energy and joy between us. We like to interact with the crowd. Sometimes we interact through the net. And I think it's fun to just watch us. And there's always love and respect for our opponents. But at the end of the day, we're competitors. And we want to be on top. We always want to win. So you'll see that regardless of who we play, even though there are probably some teams that we have a little bit more of a fight for.
This is an important game. Yeah, it's an important match.
Every game is important. And every game is going to go like this. So you got to put your best foot forward no matter what. There's no taking your foot off the gas because this game is fast. It's dynamic. And so... we're going to be building a lot of rivalries this year, I think.
Yeah.
San Diego, Miami, East Hampton, New York, LA, New York. You guys are going Central Park, by the way, right? Unbelievable. And, of course, on national television to be at that as well. Are there places where you guys have played? The Olympics does not count.
Sure.
So that's an easy one. I'm not giving you the answer before we even start. Places, locations that you guys have played in that have really surprised you in terms of, wow, this is like not only really cool to play in this specific location, but in terms of the people that are here and how it's sort of, the fire is taking over in where we're playing. Has there been a place, Brandie, I'm curious in your perspective, has there been a place to you that has popped out that, wow, this place is special and really fun to play in?
Wow. All over the world. I can just list a few because there's no way I could pick just one. Yeah. I know just even on the AVP tour, playing in New York City was always pretty incredible, just be in that atmosphere and still have so many people come out and support beach volleyball on the East Coast. Obviously, everywhere in LA is great. And then internationally, Mexico loves beach volleyball. That crowd will be there 110% of the time.
Oh,
it's
Mexico,
great.
huh?
Yeah. There's places in Europe, Vienna, Switzerland, some of these countries you wouldn't think of beach volleyball.
Vienna and Switzerland?
Vienna, they know
I
the
know
cheers.
Switzerland's really good, really.
Yes.
Not a lot of beaches.
Exactly.
I mean, like, they play in the mountains?
Yes,
So-
exactly.
Wow.
Exactly it. Yeah, we're in the mountains. People know the cheers. People are there. They come every single year. It's really amazing. Where else am I thinking? And obviously Brazil, Mecca of beach volleyball.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
amazing to play there. You can find people that just know everything about your history and has been watching you play since you were young.
Loyal
that's
fans.
Loyal
Yeah.
fans out
Loyal
there.
fans?
Yeah.
You're both are Toronto-based?
That's right.
So so born and raised in, or at least not born and raised, but raised in Canada for the most part.
Yeah.
I got to ask about this because this is a bit of a segue. I'm curious. Toronto, are we hockey fans?
I'm a hockey fan for playoff hockey. So I'm a little heartbroken.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
You represent South Florida. You got to.
I'm switching
I'm not
teams.
going to say it.
teams.
Hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Toronto's out now, so.
Well, hold on. Hold on. You definitely can't do that. That's not fair.
Toronto fans don't do that, do they?
So you're a Toronto Maple Leaf fan in the playoffs. Fair enough. I think that's big for
And
the hockey. They just lost in 7 games to the Florida Panthers, who play down in Sunrise. They play, 45 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You can't pick. You can't do that.
Okay, I can't bandwagon.
You're going to have to choose an allegiance here. And Florida won last year. So they might repeat this year. I better not see you at the parade.
I feel like there's a wrong answer. Yeah.
I can't win.
You can't say because Toronto. You can't. You got to keep on Toronto.
No, I'm
right?
a diehard Toronto. Toronto, everything. Raptors, Leafs, Blue Jays, diehard Toronto. We're not very good all the time, but I will stick by them to the end of time.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Brandon, you're not a hockey fan?
I don't know.
Canada?
I'm no.
Isn't that
I
saying,
was going to say I'm trying and I'm not.
Right. That's like the
Raptors. I'm a big Raptors fan.
So you're a hoops fan. Okay, fair enough. Because I was thinking Canada, that's hockey. Now, how about this? Let me ask you this. If we're not, Toronto's not in it anymore. Okay. I just want to bring up the Stanley Cup one last time. Edmonton is the last Canadian team in there. I've always wanted to ask Canadians this.
Okay.
Is it important for you for a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup over the 3 American teams remaining? Will you root for Edmonton in this situation, or is there a city to city, we don't like Edmonton? I'm curious.
Listen, this is a great question. For sure, we love representing, Canadian teams, but most of the teams in the NHL are comprised of Canadian players.
Right.
So it's a win-win.
So it's a win. Yes, we know. So we know some of the best players in the league are Canadian.
Let's call it. We see it. We want to win for Canada. But Toronto Maple Leafs versus Edmonton, very different teams. So I'm curious on if it's important for a Canadian team. Do you root for a Canadian team in that sense?
Ideally, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to. I was curious on the rivalry, if there are rivalries amongst cities in Canada. Similar
There are.
Similar to
massive.
For example, New York City and Boston, or New York City and Philadelphia. I'm sure there's. I don't
Toronto,
know.
Montreal. Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens. Huge rivalry.
Huge, famous team. So of course, absolutely. But all right, so we got the tournament coming, or the season week 1 this weekend with the AVP League. What are the expectations? Let's talk about what we want. We had first last year, now this year. What steps are we looking to take, not only as you two, as the Palm Beach Passion, and what steps would you like to take, would you see taken for the league this year in order to be really pleased with how this is going to go? Melissa, I'm curious your thoughts first.
So our team didn't make the championships last year. So we were a little heartbroken from that. So this year the goal is obviously to make the championships. We want to be in Chicago for the Final Four. That's definitely our goal. We have a very good shot at doing that. We have a great men's team to support as well. It's a new team from last year, so it's going to be good energy, good camaraderie on our team. I think because the games are so fast, it's really going to force us to bring our best game from the first point. I think you're going to see us really work on our defensive plays to try and get as many points. Like you were saying, the momentum swings are huge, and every team is good here. So we want to make sure that we're not giving them any chance to get into these games. So that's going to be our priorities, I think, for this year. And then for the league, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like for spectators and fans to come out. You have $1 beers this weekend.
I heard that.
Yeah, enough said.
Mic drop.
I went to school in Wisconsin. I don't know if we know the reputation in Wisconsin is beer. So
there you go. Wisconsin, are you coming out this weekend?
Yeah. Come represent.
I'll come represent this weekend. Somebody's got to represent Wisconsin there. If it's dollar beer night, unbelievable. So yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of reasons to go. You got dollar beer night, but also you can go see. Who doesn't want to go watch beach volleyball in a great outdoor setting in South Florida, in a professional league that travels all over the country?
Yeah.
No brainer there.
Come meet the athletes too. There's a lot of accessibility to be able to meet and greet, ask your athletes your favorite questions, get a picture, signed autographs, come see an Olympic medal. It's just a good time. You're going to see high caliber stuff.
Now, how about Phil Dahlhauser is the men's side for Palm Beach Passion. He's an Olympic gold medalist right there, somebody who's had a storied career in beach volleyball. Him getting involved with you guys, I know you guys both play and it all counts towards the team, but having him almost in the building, does that change things, Brandie?
I mean, we love Phil. We admire and respect his whole legacy. That's a player I looked up to when I started playing. So I never imagined we'd be on the same team. So this is an amazing opportunity.
Moments, right?
Yes. And it's his last year. He just announced his retirement. So I have a good feeling he's going to come out with a bang, and we want to be there to support that and make sure that we're all out there winning and doing him justice.
That's got to be the coolest thing in the world to be a part of that. There's always something bittersweet, but almost it's like there is nobody who enjoys playing the sport they played their whole life more than a person on their farewell tour.
Yeah.
Because they know that it's sort of you're on time now.
Exactly.
You're on cut time.
Yeah.
So I think that we're going to see not only him playing great, but also just somebody who enjoys it and is wearing it as much as you possibly can. I think that's going to be very awesome to see. Well, I'm looking forward to following the Palm Beach Palm Beach Passion's biggest fan right here.
Yes.
Hey.
Radio
Love it.
representation. Colin Russo from ESPN West Palm.
Yeah.
Team playing the whole
Right,
thing. We'll
baby.
be
The T-shirt and everything. You want us to
I
sign
got it.
that?
I'm all set. Absolutely. And with the Olympic medal, by the way. I
Absolutely.
apologize. But I apologize in advance. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys giving us the time, giving us a little feel of what to expect when the AVP League Week 1 really kicks off here this weekend. You got a fast-paced, I like how you said that, fast-paced, but also really fun and competitive beach volleyball all over the country. Go get your tickets now, avp.com/tickets. I appreciate it, Brandie and Melissa. We're looking forward to talking again soon. This is going to be maybe when it's Final Four week and we got the Palm Beach Passion coming into town over to Chicago. We'll circle back and we'll do a whole breakdown.
We'll see
That's
you
what I'm
there.
thinking about. Look, I'll tell my bosses, guys.
Book it.
Easy. Sorry, I got Colin. We got a game to come. No, we got the Palm Beach Passion
We're going to Chicago,
cover
baby.
in Chicago.
Deep
Looking
dish.
forward to it. I appreciate you guys giving us the time on ESPN West Palm tonight. We got some Olympic gold medals in the house. We take a time out here on ESPN 106.3.